Hello, this is Philip Jewell for Blue Hat TV. We recently visited Madison, Wisconsin, and spoke with artist Dave Tilton about the photographic process that he uses to create his digital art.
The technique I use is a radical departure from most techniques in photography, and it actually takes place without composing through the camera's lens. It takes place through composing based on elements that I've recorded using a camera and working within a digital environment using a program like Photoshop. Because of this, I get to create the scene rather than having to document the scene as you would normally be restricted to for the most part in photography. By taking this experimental approach, I started to work with how I feel or think about landscapes rather than how I want to take a landscape. As a part of that, I started to work on a series of images that I refer to as remembered landscapes, because I'm reconstructing them out of my memory and my impression of them using photographs or digital samples from a very wide variety of sources, none of them that actually have anything to do with that particular landscape. When I take samples, I use just a small digital camera, and I'm taking photographs of very unusual things for the most part. I'll take photographs of light patterns, and basically that's what I'm trying to sample is light and light energy. So I look at light and shadow, texture, how light and shadow creates texture, and how light creates color. I use Photoshop like a visual synthesizer in effect, and I use sometimes or most often hundreds and hundreds of visual samples that I've taken to create my compositions. Photography usually carries a very documentary aesthetic, and what I've done is to go back rethinking how we bring the image into the photographic process to create images that have a very painterly aesthetic. I studied painting technique to learn how to shape and extend the ability to work with texture and the ability to create color. When I started to work with this technique, I actually went and spent a great deal of time looking at paintings, and especially became interested in Rothko. I was interested in Rothko because of the way he created his color and the way he created his depth and color. Many, many, many thin washes. He created this incredible depth and a sense of movement in color. And I found that really fascinating. And I also found it very similar to the way I was starting to think about how to work the technique in terms of working with layer. I also began to really recognize what the computer brings to the creation of art by giving an artist the power and the ability to go in and affect the detail of texture, to go in and nuance textures and colors beyond what may be available to artists using other mediums.
Dave told us about his electronic music series of digital images.
I've gone back and done a series of 6 images that work with major figures in the advancement of electronic music. Steve Reich, Wendy Carlos, Leon Theremin, Brian Eno, and John Chowning are the ones I've worked on so far. When I work on those images, I listen to their compositions and their performance and read about them, read about what they did to advance their technique or advance electronic music, and think about that in terms of continuing to advance the techniques I'm working with.
Dave's wife is photographer Paula Oeler. She told us about their studio and gallery space.
We are leasing a space in the Atwood neighborhood of Madison. Atwood, we're actually right on Shanks Corners, which is an intersection where about 5 streets come together. So there's a lot of walking traffic in this neighborhood. It's an old commercial district. This building was a grocery store when it first developed, and we liked this area for the energy. There's a lot of artists in the neighborhood. There was a framer in the neighborhood, and it allowed us to open for gallery nights where we probably have 300 people come into the space on the gallery nights twice a year, sometimes more. When it's a really beautiful May night in Wisconsin, we, I think, had close to 500 people, which is a great way to expose Dave's work to the Madison community, which is very supportive of the arts. The people who come out on gallery night are very engaged with both the work and knowing the artist. There's a lot of conversation that focuses on the intent and the purpose, which we find really invigorating.
If you would like more information about Dave Tilton and Paula Oeler, visit their website at Carta, C-A-R-T-A, StudioWorks.com. You may view additional Blue Hat TV videos at bluehat.tv or visit our regular website at bluehat.biz and click on the video blog link. Thanks for watching Blue Hat TV.